past Saturday night on HBO, we saw the return of the Filipino Flash Nonito Donaire. After nearly 7 months outside the ring, Donaire returned to face former foe Vic Darchinyan. It took Nonito 9 rounds to end the fight, this time around against Darchinyan. We now turn our attention to the ConcreteJungle.com's writer Tommy D. Elias for his thoughts on Donaire's performance this past Saturday night. First, good to have you with us here, Elias. I hope your weekend went good as always, homie. Give us your thoughts on Nonito Donaire's performance last night. Do you think he was impressive against current gatekeeper Vic Darchinyan?
Nonito Donaire versus Vic Darchinyan, number 2. It was a great fight. I mean, don't get me wrong. It had its slow spots. It looked like, it could have been easy work, especially in round 2 when Nonito started, teeing off for a second. But Vic Darchinyan was in it to win it. People have to know that these guys do have history. I mean, there is the history there. So they may have hated each other and had more determination for this fight than people really think. If you rewind back to '07 at the Home Depot Center, Nonito Donaire did beat Vic Darchinyan for the first time and was the only person to ever knock him out. I will, throw that in there also. But it was more of a revenge fight. I asked Glenn Donaire, Nonito's older brother, what was your, biggest moment in boxing as your career? And he says, the day that my brother beat Vic Darchinyan, and it was a great moment for him and his family. So I have to throw that in there. People aren't equating, all the factors in this match. It was a great fight because, they each made it a great fight. These guys were headhunting. They were trying to kill each other rather than fight a tactical battle. So I think, people have to really probably watch it a few times before you understand the beauty of what happened last night. But I give all props to Nonito Donaire. I wouldn't so much call Vic a gatekeeper. I mean, let's think about it. The man had his dynasty. He was unstoppable at one point in time. I mean, he was just digging ditches. The dude is dirty fighter. His personality isn't for everyone. It's an acquired taste. If you like those cocky guys, you like Vic. And even Max pointed out, his ego is so much that he has to give you an excuse with every loss. Well, I'm not worried about that because the Vic Darchinyan we seen last night, I mean, he could beat anybody. Nonito Donaire, I think a lot of people forget who he is, with the exception of Mares being boxing politics, a golden boy fighter and him top ranked. Of course, they didn't fight and they didn't meet, but he did want to fight Rigondeaux, and he did fight Rigondeaux. The fact of the matter is he lost that fight. But I don't think anybody can sleep on Vic Darchinyan. A lot of people out there today, whether they're in the mainstream media or just making comments on Facebook, ESPN, different blogs, they're all beating up Nonito for not having heart and this that. Well, hello, the man came back to win. To come back and win in exciting fashion the way he did, that's what champions are made of. And I think that's what people need to start celebrating, that Nonito Donaire is a true champion, because that's what true champions do. What about Sweepy when Hurtado was, beating the crap out of him? Look, the man was going to be in the biggest fight of his life versus Oscar De La Hoya, and Hurtado was just coming on so strong, doing all these things, and Sweepy had to KO him. And that's what champions do. So let me point that out.
Do you feel that Donaire deserves a title shot now? He said after the fight he's gunning for Rigondeaux. And Guillermo said today that he's willing to fight Donaire in March of next year.
People were scared of Nonito before they fought him, when they signed the contract, when they got in the ring with him. A lot of his fights people accuse of being boring and he doesn't know what he's doing. But look at the laundry list of guys he's taken out. I mean, wow. I mean, you can't just say, hey, who's he to get another title shot? The man has been running things for a long time. He had one loss to Rigondeaux. It was a good loss. He showed that he does have that fighting spirit. He does have that heart of a champion. I say make the fight, top rank. They're going to do what they do, but that's a fight that they for sure should make, and make now while the getting is good. Rigondeaux has to fight Egbeko. So, I mean, it's really a question of whether Rigondeaux can do it again. I mean, you can talk good and you can fight a good game. He only has 11 pro fights. Let me point that out. First of all, I mean, people are crowning him, putting him in the top 10. The man has 11 pro fights. Please, all right? Let him do that a couple more times to a couple more seasoned veterans or even champions, you know. But just the one win against Nonito, I think there's unfinished business there, and I think Nonito deserves a chance to redeem himself. Rigondeaux said he's ready for March. Like I said, you know, people always talking, you know, that's what they say. I don't doubt the guy, you know. I met him, I shook his hand. You go in there, and as easy as you walk in that ring, you can win or lose. It you know, it's really the drop of a hat. His boxing is beautiful. But he has to fight this guy, King Kong Ibeko. Now, Ibeko has a style that is really crowd-pleasing himself. Rigondeaux is more of a calculated boxer. He has a lot of the amateurish style in him still. People try to compare him to Floyd. I don't think there's no comparison there. Floyd is the best. He's not. He fought Nonito, beat Nonito. Now he has to fight King Kong. King Kong might jump in and lunge in with the punch and be ripe for a KO for Rigondeaux. But we don't know that. We don't know. That's what it says on paper. On paper, he could beat anybody. On paper, he's invincible. But in between that ring, he's been put on his wallet before. So, you know, I think he should handle his business with King Kong, Joseph Ibeko, and then talk about Nonito. Nonito right now, he's, you know, he just want to come from behind victory by TKO. He's the only man in 39 fights, 6 losses. 6 losses to the best, you know, boxers in those divisions at that time, and the only 2 people that knocked him out was Nonito and Nonito. So I think people need to wake up and smell the coffee. Nonito, pretty much, he showed me that he's the real deal last night. Victor Archinian could have gave him problems in the first fight, but he didn't. He gave him fits in the second fight, no problem. He got the job done, and that's what ultimately, you know, should sway your decision. Did he get the W or did he get the L? How did he do it? Was it a stinker? Oh, it was a KO. You really can't say nothing. People are a little bit. I think fan standards are too high. Point. Every time you point your finger, you're pointing 3 right back at you. Know that.
Finally, to close this out, if Donaire does accept the Guillermo Rigondeaux fight in March, signs a contract, and it gets on, how do you see this fight playing out? Same result as the first?
If Nonito and Rigondeaux, if they fight again, I mean, to be honest, I'm not a big believer in Rigondeaux. I think he's good, but I mean, even if, like I said, even if Nonito fights the same way he did last time, which pretty much was the same way he fought this fight, you know, with the angst, with the chip on his shoulder, with hate, I like it, you know. It makes for a cool fight. I mean, Rigondeaux, you know, he hit him all kinds of times, but he really didn't, you know, hurt Nonito. He really didn't, you know, make Nonito want to quit or nothing. It was the shut. Yeah, it was, you know, I gave Nonito 3 rounds, but to be honest, it was still an okay fight, you know. And number 2, I'm gonna have to vote for a Nonito KO. You could walk on the water one time, but can he walk the tightrope every time? I don't know if he's that good. You know, his amateur record, you know, it's an amateur record. It's not a pro record. You know, I'll point out that Costa Zoo was a legend before he ever turned pro. And when he did, there was a guy named Cool Vince Phillips waiting for him. Everybody has a bullet with their name on it. So, I mean, you know, I'm not sold by the Rigondeaux in the top 10 pound-for-pound list yet. And Nonito, he deserves his spot. So, with that being said, I predict if they do fight again in March, Nonito will KO him. You know, people may be saying I'm a hater. I don't like Rigondeaux. It's not that I don't like him. It's you have to show people in this business that you're about it. He beat Nonito. So yeah, he deserves the accolades for that. But in 11 fights, maybe his fame came too quickly. There's a guy out there, his name was David Reed, at 154, who was, Olympian, same team as Floyd and Vargas and them. Jermaine Taylor, really great team, and when he won the gold medal, before Andre Ward. He came, I think, like 13, 14 fights, he won a title. That didn't mean that he could keep it, okay? So, I mean, if everyone's so sold on Rigondeaux, hey, go out and bet. Write an article. Write your congressman. Tell someone about it. Promote the fight, okay? Because these guys need to get in the ring ultimately and need to handle some unfinished business.